Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. As so far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and happy Aviation Day. For those of you who don't know, Aviation Day is a national holiday here in the United States that was started in 1939 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and it is the anniversary of Orville Wright's birthday. The day is meant to celebrate the history of flight and aviation, and we're doing all flying animals this week in honor of it. Flying and or gliding animals. Starting with the wandering albatross, also known as the snowy albatross, the white-winged albatross, or the goonie, is a large seabird from the family Diomedeidae, which is a circumpolar range in the Southern Ocean, and it was long considered to be the same species as the Tristan albatross and the Antipodean albatross, being formally declared and scientifically described as Diomede excellens by Carl Linnaeus in 1758, making it the last species of albatross to be named. The wandering albatross travel vast distances and tend to feed further out in the open ocean than other albatross species. Here they dive and forage in cold waters for cephalopods, small fish, crustaceans, and animal refuse, eating such excess at times they are unable to fly and instead swim along the surfaces of the water. As adults, wandering albatrosses are occasionally preyed upon by sharks and killer whales, with eggs, hatchlings, and juveniles being preyed upon by sheathbills, petrels, and squaws. Reaching 3.5 to 4.5 feet in length and 13 to 35 pounds in weight, the wandering albatross has the longest wingspan of any living bird, at 8 to 12 feet wide, and ranks amongst the largest extant flying birds. The plumage varies with age, with juveniles starting as a chocolate brown, and adults sporting white bodies with black and white wings. The large bill is pink, as are the feet, and these albatrosses have salt gland that is situated above the nasal passage that helps to desalinate their bodies, allowing them to drink ocean water. A monogamous species, the wandering albatross forms lifelong pairs, which breed once every 2 years, forming loose colonies on isolated island groups in the Southern Ocean. Here the pair build a nest consisting of a large bowl of vegetation, soil, and peat up to 3.5 feet wide, and the female then lays one spotted white egg that is incubated and ships by both parents for around 11 weeks. The chick is cared for by its parents until it is ready to leave the nest at around 7 to 8 months of age, and will not return to the nesting site for several years until it is ready to mate at around 11 to 15 years of age. Under ideal conditions, a wandering albatross may live upwards of 50 years. Next up is the sugar glider, which is a species of small arboreal gliding possum that is native to the states of Queensland and New South Wales and Australia. Here they inhabit coastal and alpine forests east of the Great Dividing Range, where they live in familial colonies consisting of up to 7 adults plus the current season's young, which is led by a pair of codominant males. Said groups spend the day sleeping, grooming, and socializing within leaf-lined tree hollows, emerging at night to feed upon insects, spiders, nectar, seeds, eggs, hatchling lizards and birds, pollen, fungi, fruit, acacia gum, eucalyptus sap, manna, and honeydew. Sugar gliders are themselves preyed upon by kookaburras, goannas, snakes, quolls, and feral cats. Reaching 9 to 12 inches in length and 4 to 6 ounces in weight, sugar gliders have a squirrel-like body with a long prehensile tail, a big head and swiveling ears, and large, widespread eyes which allow for better dark vision and more precise triangulation from launching to landing locations while they glide. Each foot on a sugar glider has 5 digits with opposable thumb-like toes on each hind foot. The gliding membrane extends from the outside of the 5th digit on each forefoot to the 1st digit on each hind foot. When the legs are stretched out, this membrane allows the sugar glider to glide a considerable distance. The fur coat on the sugar glider is a thick, soft, and usually blue or gray, although some have been known to be yellow, tan, or albino in color. A black stripe is seen from the nose to midway on its back, and its belly, throat, and chest are cream in color. Males have 4 scent glands located on the forehead, chest, and 2 paracloacal that appear as bald spots. Females also have the paracloacal scent glands and a scent gland on their pouch, but do not have the scent glands on the chest or forehead. Mating occurs year-round. After 15 to 17 days, the mother will give birth to 1 to 2 furless, largely underdeveloped joeys. Said joeys then immediately crawl their way to the mother's pouch, where they will they will remain for 60 to 80 days. Sugar gliders will remain with their birth colony until they reach sexual maturity around 8 to 12 months of age, and under ideal conditions, a sugar glider may live up to 17 years. Next up is the paradise flying snake, also known as the paradise tree snake or the garden gliding snake. It is a species of diurnal arboreal snake in the family Colubridae that is native throughout southern Asia, including eastern Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, India, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippine Islands, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Here they can be found throughout rainforest, cloud forests, and mangrove swamps, where they feed upon small lizards, frogs, small birds, and bats that they dispatch using a combination of constriction and mild venom delivered via the snake's rear fangs. The most notable feature of the paradise flying snake is that, as the name suggests, it is capable of short gliding flight. These snakes can jump from treetops and manipulate their slender 2 to 4 foot long round bodies, which flatten out so that the ventral surface becomes concave. This, combined with the sinuous undulating movements, allows the snake to glide upwards of 300 feet. Slow motion photography has shown that the undulation of the snake's body in flight, while the snake's body will undulate in flight, the head remains relatively stable, demonstrating that they can control their descents. Typical patterning is an attractive arrangement of dark-edged yellow scales. However, some specimens have red patterning along the dorsal surface. They have snub nose, large round black eyes, and very thin tails. The breeding habits of the paradise tree snake are not well studied, but we do know they reproduce oviparously, with females laying 6 to 12 elongated eggs sometime between May and July. Under ideal conditions, a paradise flying snake may live upwards of 10 years. Next up is the western honeybee, also known as the European honeybee. It is a species of flying insect within the genus Apis, which is named throughout Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. The western honeybee was one of the first domesticated insects, and it is the primary species maintained by beekeepers to this day for both its honey production and its pollination activities. With human assistance, the western honeybee has spread throughout much of North, South, Central America, Australia, New Zealand, the Caribbean, and Eastern Asia, making it now the most widespread and numerous species of bee on Earth. Like all honeybee species, the western honeybee is eusocial, creating colonies with a single fertile female queen bee, many normally non-reproductive female worker bees, and a small proportion of fertile males known as drones. Individual colonies can house tens of thousands of bees, and colony activity is organized by complex communication between individuals through both pheromones and dance language. Scientists used to believe that according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. The bee's wings are fairly small for their body size, and so even at 230 beats per second, rigid wings wouldn't be able to let the bees take off. However, recently using slow motion film, it was discovered that bee wings are not rigid but twist and rotate during flight, making short, quick, sweeping figure-8 motions, thus generating more lift than traditional flapping, allowing the bees to be able to fly. Depending on the region, honeybees may collect pollen and nectar from a variety of flowering plants, including milkweed, dandelions, clover, goldenrod cacti, lavender, several bushes and sedges, and fruit trees. With workers consuming as much nectar as they can from each flower. After foraging, the worker bees then return to the hive and pass the collected nectar to another worker. This worker then holds the nectar on their tongue until the liquid evaporates and then creates honey. The honey is then stored in cells within the hive to be consumed later by other bees. Like other insects that undergo complete metamorphosis, the western honeybee has 4 distinct life stages: egg, larvae, pupa, and adult. The complex social structure of the western honeybee hives means that all of these life stages occur simultaneously throughout much of the year. The queen deposits a single egg in each cell of a honeycomb prepared by the worker bees. The egg hatches into legless, eyeless larvae cared for by the nurse bees. After about a week, the larvae is sealed in the cell by the nurse bees and begins its pupal stage. After another week, it emerges as an adult bee. The worker bees secrete wax that is used to build the hive, in addition to cleaning, maintaining, and guarding the hive. They also raise the young and forage for nectar and pollen. Although worker bees are usually infertile females, when a hive is in danger, they may lay fertile eggs. Since worker bees are not fully sexually developed, they do not mate with drones and thus can only produce haploid male offspring. The lifespan of workers varies depending on time of year, with those born in spring and summer working so hard that they live only a few weeks. But those born in fall and winter may live several months. Under ideal conditions, a queen western honeybee may live up to 8 years. Next up is the peregrine falcon, also known as the duck hawk or simply the peregrine. It is a species of cosmopolitan bird of prey in the family Falconidae. After the rock pigeon, the peregrine falcon is the world's second most widespread bird and can be found nearly everywhere on Earth except for extreme polar regions, very high mountains, most tropical rainforests, and some isolated islands such as New Zealand. The peregrine is also the fastest bird on Earth, capable of reaching 242 miles per hour during its charismatic and characteristic high-speed dives. They use this immense speed to rush down knock medium-sized birds such as pigeons, doves, waterfowl, songbirds, and gulls out of the sky, causing them to die upon impact with the ground, allowing these falcons to feast upon their corpses. Peregrine falcons are also known to prey on other birds, small mammals, small reptiles, insects, and are themselves preyed upon by larger birds such as eagles, gray falcons, and owls. Males are smaller than females, reach around 12 to 20 inches in length, 0.7 to 2.2 pounds in weight, with a 28 to 38 inch wingspan, while females reach 15 to 23 inches in length, 1.5 to 3.3 pounds in weight, with a 35 to 47 inch wingspan. Both sexes sport a blue, gray, black, bared white underparts and a black head. The cere is yellow, as are the feet, and the beak and claws are black. The upper beak has a notch near the tip, an adaptation which enables the falcon to kill prey by severing the spinal cord. Pairs mate for life, with their courtship flights sporting a mix of aerial acrobatics, precise spirals, and steep dives, while the pair passes prey back and forth. Nesting occurs along cliffs, tall buildings, or large tree hollows. Here the female scrapes a shallow hollow in which to lay 1 to 5 white and red-brown eggs, which are then incubated for a period of 29 to 33 days. Chicks fledge at 42 to 46 days after hatching and may remain with their parents for up to an additional 2 months. Under ideal conditions, a peregrine falcon may live upwards of 15 years. Next up is the Honduran white bat, also known as the Caribbean white tent-making bat, is a species of bat in the family Phylostomatidae that is native to the tropical evergreen and secondary forests of Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama, below 2,300 feet in elevation. Here the Honduran white bats live in colonies of 3 to 15 individuals, which roost within leaf tents, which these bats construct by working in unison to cut along the side veins extending out from the midrib of large leaves of the heliconia plant, causing said leaves to fold down to form a sheltered tent-like nest. These tents protect the bats from rain and predators until they rot away after around 45 days. Rather than roosting in a single tent consistently, the Honduran white bat colonies typically have a network of tents scattered around the forest that they alternate roosting amongst. The Honduran white bat is a frugivorous and feeds almost exclusively upon figs. They are themselves eaten by capuchin monkeys, Central American squirrel monkeys, and various species of snakes. They are a small species of bat with a head-to-body length of 1.5 to 2 inches, a wingspan of 3.5 to 4 inches, and a body weight of 0.18 to 0.21 ounces. The bat's nose leaf is erect, its tail is absent, and its ears are large and rounded. The nose leaf has a serrated margin, and like their name suggests, the Honduran white bat has bright white fur. Its wing membranes are black, its ears tragic, nose leaf, and lips are a bright yellowish-orange color that is caused by the large concentrations of carotenoids, particularly xanthophyll. Little is known about the Honduran white bat's reproductive behaviors, but it has been proposed that individuals give birth in April to September, and that estrus occurs part-nutrition. Females have synchronized births, with all births in the colony occurring within the same week. Litter size is typically one offspring, which is known as a pup, and the pups fledge and become capable of flight at around 3 to 4 weeks of age. Under ideal conditions, a Honduran white bat may live up to 20 years. And our extinct animal of the week is Quetzalcoatlus, which is an extinct genus of Asdarchid pterosaur which lived throughout what is now North America during the Maastrichtian stage of the late Cretaceous period, some 72 to 66 million years ago. The first fossils of Quetzalcoatlus, consisting of a partial wing, were unearthed in the Javelina Formation of the Big Bend National Park in Texas by Douglas A. Lawson in 1971. From 1972 to 1974, Lawson would return to the site and, with the help of Professor Juan Langstrom Jr., unearthed 3 additional fragmentary skeletons, formally describing and naming the species Quetzalcoatlus northropi after the Aztec feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl. The specific name honors John Knudsen Northrop, the founder of Northrop, who developed a large tailless flying wing aircraft design that resembles Quetzalcoatlus. Today, 2 species of Quetzalcoatlus are considered valid, those being Quetzalcoatlus northropi and Quetzalcoatlus lawsoni. Reaching 11 to 22 feet in length, 150 to 550 pounds in weight, with a 16 to 40 foot wingspan, Quetzalcoatlus is considered one of, if not the largest creatures to ever fly. Like other Asdarchids, Quetzalcoatlus sported an unusually long, stiffened neck, massive forelimbs, and proportionally small but incredibly powerful hind limbs. The skull was long and strong but fairly narrow, and featured a robust crest above the eyes and a very sharp, pointed, toothless beak. In life, Quetzalcoatlus would have inhabited a wide range of environments, including plains, wetlands, scrublands, coastal regions, and open woodlands, sporting a lifestyle not dissimilar to that of a modern-day marabou stork, stalking smaller prey on land, such as lizards, mammals, and even small dinosaurs, in the vegetation growth, in addition to sitting on the edges of streams, rivers, and lakes, snatching fish and amphibians as they swam by. Such feeding strategies would require very little energy expenditure, making it easier for Quetzalcoatlus to maintain the caloric intake needed to fuel its massive body. As always, take care to my guys, gals, non-binary pals. Have a good aviation day.